You may or may not be aware that I am a big fan of pausing. Pausing is one of the best things that you can do to spark more wonder in your life and in your work. Like I often like to remind people that it's really hard to wonder when you're going 80 miles an hour. So towards that end, I'd like to share a few ways that you can intentionally and with some structure practice pausing. And that's through designing in micro retreats into your life and into your work. I'm a big fan of retreats. And the good news is that you do not have to spend an extraordinary amount of money. It doesn't have to be lavish. You don't have to go to some exotic, faraway locale in order to retreat and give yourself the gift of pausing so that you can return to the work at hand much more invigorated, full of wonder, but also practicing the rigor it takes to step away from the desk, from the laptop, and practice some solitude. You know, I probably intentionally began to really value solitude as a teenager. I had the extraordinary opportunity to be part of an Outward Bound course. And it was in North Carolina, in Asheville, North Carolina, on Table Rock Mountain. And towards the end of the course, we had to do a 2-day solo. So I'm 15 years old. I have a water bottle, a compass, a journal, basic bedding, my knapsack, and 2 days utterly alone. And I was admittedly terrified going into it, but the coolest things begin to happen. You notice details, you rest, you reflect, you practice some hindsight and also foresight, which leads to insight. So here are 3 types of micro retreats that I really encourage you to try. The first is a noticing retreat. A noticing retreat can really be just visiting a neighborhood in a very different part of your city or your town that you frequently do not go to, and sit in a cafe, take a walk down streets that may not be familiar with you, and just notice the way people decorate their houses, the conversations you overhear. It's an opportunity to both be in tune to yourself as also being very aware of others and getting outside of your world and your own kind of myopic world of work. And this does wonders for you in terms of returning to the work at hand. So practice noticing retreats. And this could be over a lunch. You could commit to 1 lunch a month where you're going to go to a very different neighborhood. You might go to visit a museum and sit in the museum restaurant and just begin to notice, right? Be an anthropologist of sorts. The second type of micro retreat is a walking retreat. Again, these could be really short retreats. I actually practice walking retreats throughout the week. I have 5-minute long timed walks around the block or so. I have 15-minute timed walks. And through movement, it's also another important kinesthetic way to get away from the work at hand, retreat into oneself, and it's incredibly energizing. So having these walking retreats, again, where you also get to notice, which can be incredibly beneficial. The third type of retreat is a quarterly reflection retreat. And I just treated myself to a quarterly reflection retreat a few weeks ago, coming towards the end of the year. I live in Philadelphia. I found a hotel that was reasonably priced. I just booked 1 night and I gave myself 2 journal prompts. The good thing about these reflection retreats that are quarterly is that, you're in a slightly new environment and there is some rigor. There is that work that you're giving yourself. So the 2 prompts I gave myself in my journal were to generate 50 questions, not answers, just 50 questions. Questions that started with why, what if, I wonder, and I just filled in the blanks and just asked question after question after question. And this was nice also because it was towards the end of the year, so I was doing a lot of reflection. The other prompt that I did in this quarterly reflection retreat, micro retreat, is that I also prompted myself to generate 50 gratitude statements, 50 things for which I'm grateful. And you know, a lot of us find it very challenging to keep a journal on a daily basis. What if we did an annual journal and we kind of just cataloged a reflection of the year through these gratitude statements and through these question prompts? So there you have it. Have noticing micro retreats, walking micro retreats, and quarterly reflection retreats. Get out of your home if possible. Treat yourself to one night in a hotel. It could be a reasonably priced hotel. If you want to splurge, it could be a really upscale hotel, but treat yourself to room service and just be to yourself and think of your own prompts that will help you to return to work much more invigorated.